Good morning. Good to see you guys. Thanks for being here. Awesome. I think Zoe should be joining from the other room. And let's see, there's Sarah, Kristen, Kylie, Drew. Awesome. Yeah, Thanksgiving coming up next week. So this is our annual gratitude call. It's kind of just like such a important call for us coaches. Not because we want to hear people say they're grateful for the things that we do, but because we want everyone to have the opportunity to express a little gratitude for all of the different things that they're thankful for from the year, and just take a moment to reflect. And reflection is really the word that comes to mind for me. I think that a life without reflection and gratitude can, maybe not be as meaningful as other ways of living. And I don't want to assign so much of my values onto this. I want you guys to do what feels right for you. But the science is there, and we like to do stuff that's backed by science and research. And, the science says that expressions of gratitude can really positively affect our outlooks, our well-being, things like that. Promotes pro-social behaviors, building community, engagement, all of this stuff that reflects the values of Microcosm and why we're here, what we do. This is about a lot more than just coaching and daily support. It's about creating a community. It's about changing the world a little bit with kindness, with love, with gratitude, that kind of stuff. So this just means a lot for us, and we get to use Thanksgiving as the excuse for, just putting like everybody, shining the spotlight on each one of you guys, and just asking you guys to, just express a little bit about what you're grateful for. It's we could just dive right into it. I mean, I only had a few athletes email in with their expressions of gratitude, but this is great. And we've got a handful of you guys on the call. So perfect. If it doesn't take the full hour, that's totally fine. I'm just going to be really happy to hear from all of you guys. If for some reason so I assume everybody read that if you're on this call, I'm going to call on you and ask you to speak for 1 to 2 minutes with an expression of gratitude. If you're not comfortable doing that and you would rather me read something you've written, use the chat box. And I don't know how things line up on your screens, but I'm kind of I'll start with the coaches and then I'll just kind of go down the line. Excited to hear from you guys. I'll start. It's hard to pick just one thing to be grateful for. I think I'm always grateful for the opportunity to work with my athletes and the broader community, the athletes that my coaches get to work with. I'm super grateful for that. It's allowed and brought so much opportunity and light into my life over the past 5 years. Wouldn't be anywhere without you guys. Super grateful for that. Always have to start out my Thanksgiving gratitude shout out with the community. And I think just on a more holistic note, I'm just grateful for the challenges that this year has brought into my life. I think that for me, it's important to shift my perspective to one of learning and gratitude when I'm going through hard times. And that's how I get the most out of the things that are happening in my environment, externally, internally, externally. So I want to say I'm grateful for those struggles, those obstacles, and those challenges. They're here for a purpose. I'm going to assign the meaning that I think is most important to those things and get the most out of it. All right, Sarah, you're like right next to me on here, so I would love to hear from you.
Yeah, I am just feeling super grateful this year. I feel like I was at this business conference last week, and we were supposed to try to like harness a vision for the future and like use that, kind of connect to our why. Like, what do you see? What do you want? And I really struggled because I'm like, I really like my life right now, exactly as it is. So I'm just feeling so grateful for my jobs, like for my fireweed community, for my microcosm community, for my family. Like, they're all healthy. I get to spend so much time with my kids. Like, my job allows that flexibility. And I spend every afternoon with my kids. I can go, they're sick, I can go pick them up. And that was something I couldn't do in other work that I've had. So this year I've been feeling really grateful for that. And then my crew, she crewed me 3 times this year, and each time had to stay up like over 24 hours. And she like just does it selflessly and to support me. And she like gets me through really tough times. So I've been feeling grateful for her. And yeah, just like sort of to what TJ was saying, like this year I experienced some really high, like my highest highs with running, and then my lowest lows. And so to get that perspective and to be on both sides of things has been great. So yeah, just feeling abundance like is in my life in all ways, and feeling really grateful for that.
That's wonderful, Sarah. Yeah, thanks for sharing. We really appreciate you and all that you do. Kristen.
Sorry, I was looking for the mute button. Man, I don't know. There's so many things. I think to TJ, to your point, like I'm also very grateful for the community, and to Sarah's point, just the highs and the lows that come with running. I think this year, I've never been injured like this. And so I'm just kind of like leaning into it and really learning a lot, and like looking at setbacks as opportunities and hurdles as, chances to improve. So I'm really grateful for the perspective shift that I've had this year to be able to do that. I'm also on my way to visit family for the week, so I'm really excited. Yeah, we have a lot of really fun stuff planned. I grew up surrounded by Indigenous culture, and so we have a really cool ceremony planned for next week that I'm just like super grateful to be a part of. Yeah, and then co-coaches, I learned so much from you every single day. So I'm grateful for all the things.
Awesome. Thanks, Kristen. Safe travels. Drew.
Yeah. Hey, good morning. I think last year when we did this, I was solely focused on giving thanks and showing gratitude towards my family, and that hasn't changed. My wife is amazing. My kids are amazing. They're healthy. You really can't ask for more. But really, with my 60 seconds, I wanted to take a moment to really express gratitude towards the other coaches that I coach with. For me personally, if you listen to last week's call, I talked about it a little bit, but this has been like a really vulnerable, semi-stressful year for me personally, with making the shift to full-time coaching and just a couple other things that dealing with personally. And I feel like through the other coaches, I've gained strength. I feel like I've been a better husband. I feel like I've been a better father. I feel like, obviously I know that I've gotten to be a better coach with just sharing their experiences and helping, their guidance also guide me with my athletes who have benefited from my experience with the other coaches. And in an otherwise like pretty stressful year, I feel like I've been able to stay grounded. I've been able to progress as a human, really, and ending this year feeling like I'm not going to say I'm thriving, but I'm like borderline thriving. Like everything's going really well right now, and I have a lot of that to. The other coaches deserve a shout out for that. So thank you all so much. I appreciate you.
we're happy for all your success, Drew. It's, if you can do it in times like this, just imagine where you're going to be in a few more years. Who next? Kylie.
All right. Good morning. I am thankful to be successfully right now. I'm over COVID, I think. So this is my first time getting it, and got through it and am moving forward. And I feel like I'm starting at the bottom again. I feel like I've had a lot of setbacks. However, I was able to do my first 50K race at the beginning of this year. So I'm really grateful to have been able to do that. And then I've been kind of, trying to be grateful and learning from the setbacks that I've had since April, which can be hard sometimes. But trying to open your mind to, what is this teaching me, and what other things can I, identify with too, kind of like Kristen was saying. So grateful that I've been able to kind of expand my world a little bit from running. But at the same time, I'm also grateful for the ability to have a business. So I'm a coach here, but, having my nutrition business and being able to work with people in the endurance space all the time. It's something that when I got into, I used to be a pre-veterinary major, and I thought my whole life that's what I was going to do. And then at the last minute, I didn't go to vet school and decided to get into nutrition. And so I always wanted to have a career where I could combine something that I loved and kind of give back to the community. And I feel like I've been able to do that with my business, and I'm really grateful to have that ability, and to have a great co-dietitian who's also a Microcosm community member with Emily. So those are definitely, so that, and the trying to find joy outside of that running. I'm not saying that I still don't, miss the competition side, but yeah, those two things in particular stick out to me.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks so much for sharing, Kylie. Zoe.
Yeah, I'm super grateful for my co-coaches also. I've also had COVID this week, and I think almost every morning I've woken up to a text from Kylie checking in on me. That's really nice. Yeah, it's really nice. There's nothing that I've gone through as a coach or an athlete that if I don't pop, we have a Slack or a group text, I can pop into one of those channels, and whatever the weirdest or the most embarrassing or something that I feel ashamed of or sad about, there's two other coaches that are going through it also. And it's really nice to be able to get guidance from people I look up to so much, and who are actively working so hard in service of a community I really, really care about. So that's been really nice. I'm super grateful for TJ. It's been a turbulent year between writing a book and working at a magazine that got shut down and turned into a tech startup. There's been a lot of professional setbacks and challenges, and that's been a really good reminder that the things that are the most real in the world aren't jobs and work and running. It's relationships and people and the connections that you build through those things. So grateful for the opportunity to be reminded of that, and just grateful to live in a place where I feel like I have a lot of people to connect with, and I have a lot of ways to connect with folks. And I'm also grateful for Bowie. She's been hanging out in my quarantine office all week with me, and that's been really nice.
Great. Thanks. Awesome. Well, now it's time to hear from you guys, which is my favorite part of this. I've got we had a few athletes email in, so I'll start by reading some of their gratitude expressions and thoughts. And then I'm just going to go down the line. So get ready everyone. This is going to be so fun. Alex Elizabeth wrote in. She's a really awesome athlete that I coach. And this year she is grateful to start over. And she wrote, I've been running since I was 13. And over the past few years, progressed up to 100, 200, and 300-mile ultra adventures. I was on my way to the next big thing when my father was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer in March. He passed away in June. Everything felt like it was falling apart and spinning wildly out of control. When things felt like this in the past, it often resulted in a relapse in my eating disorder thinking and behavior patterns, overtraining and injury cycles, and numbing myself with alcohol. I reached out to Microcosm not knowing what to expect, but knowing I needed support and to gain a healthy sense of control. I connected with TJ and I started over with running. I was suddenly running fewer miles than I ever had. And while uncomfortable at first, it was exactly what I needed and something I would never have done on my own. TJ recognized where I was in training and in life and gave me the gift of experience and perspective, one that has me running more consistently and with more confidence and joy than possibly ever before. Wow, that was really nice. Thank you, Alex, for sharing that with everybody. We really appreciate you. All right, Mike is another one of my athletes, such a great guy. He's grateful for his faith and the support of his wife, who always lets him train and always knows he needs a high carbohydrate meal before long runs on the weekends. I love that. Julia Lode has written in. I believe she is Zoe's athlete. She writes, a few things I'm grateful for this year. My friend and colleague, Rebecca. There is nothing better than a friend with whom you can have everything from giggle fits to existential conversations. This has been a hard year at work, and Rebecca's presence in my life has made it immeasurably more joyful. Standing on a ridgeline in New Hampshire, feeling free and astonished by the world, my partner who is so kind and so much fun, the wild and beautiful places I have been able to explore, and I am so grateful for Zoe's continued support, even when I'm slow to fill out my logs and have sloggy days. I know I'm probably on the quieter side, but Zoe's advice and guidance has made me a better athlete and a more reflective human. Thank you. Awesome. Thanks. Thanks so much, Julia. Okay, and we have one more. And this is from Rachel Bessette. She's one of my athletes, longtime athletes. She writes, in April, I had my second bone stress fracture injury in as many years. As a result, I had to make a choice, continue holding on to ideas and metrics about what it meant to be a runner and constantly feel like I was not good enough, or let go of some of those ideas and create space for something new. I'm so grateful for TJ's support and guidance during this time, and also so grateful for all of the unexpected joy I have found through the process of letting go. I love that. That's Rachel's such an awesome athlete, has been through a lot more than she's written here. It's been particularly awesome for me to just see her get through these challenges. Gosh, the process of letting go is so tough, and I can really relate to that. So it's a wonderful. Thank you, Rachel. All right, let me call on Mike. Let me see. Mike Wang, you're the guy. You're to my left here on the screen.
All right, I'm the lucky one. Hey, everyone. So my gratitude, I think, stems from running. And a quick story: in high school, a psychic told me running would save my life. And I think I brought this up with TJ when we first talked. And I've always hated running, but about 4 years ago, I had some really big life events going on personally and professionally that kind of made me rethink everything about myself and how I viewed the world and relationships and what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be. And running's kind of been at the center of everything. So I started doing a theme for every year, and 2018 was a rebuild. 2019 was about strength and foundation. 2020 was, I hope to be a springboard, and it was in many ways. 2021, though, was a year of abundance and hope. This year has really been about abundance specifically. And next year, I think, is going to be about gratitude and the opportunity that I've had to reflect on all the opportunity I've had and the access I have to opportunity that many people don't. Had a lot of conversations with really good friends this year in particular about comparison and judgment. And I think that's something that we all face. And I've certainly had in the back of my head for the last 4 years in particular. But, I think processing that and being in a position to do that is something that's very privileged. So I'm super grateful for that, and having the opportunity to go out and run really far or try to tackle new challenges, fail, but learn from everything and move forward.
Thanks so much for sharing all of that, Mike. You're so awesome, man. It's been really fun to get a window seat into your specific journey. And if I had like 30 minutes, I could go through all of the different iterations of those kind of little journeys that you mentioned there, where you start each year with kind of a different underlying focus or principle. And it's just been really cool to get to see you continue to build on like those foundational points. I think it's just so important. I really like that. Who is my next? Stephen Bennion. Good morning, Stephen.
Hey, TJ. Hey, everybody. So some of the things that I'm the most grateful for this year is, first of all, my partner. We got engaged this year. Also that I feel like since we've moved back to Colorado, her mystery health issues that developed earlier this year in January when we visited Colorado to find where we're going to live. We feel like the investigation's going positive and that there's great doctors working on it, and we'll finally piece together that mystery. I mean, number two goes without saying, moving to Colorado in the spring. We both feel a lot lighter since we've moved here, and we just really love the people, the area, just experiencing everything has just been wonderful. Running, I try to practice running with gratitude every day. I think TJ knows this. I try to just put gratitude forward every day that I go out there and run my easy miles, work hard when I'm asked to work hard, doing my workouts, and just happy to still be running. 2021, they put me in a knee brace and didn't give me much of a positive how many miles I'd be able to do. And since then, I've been able to accomplish 100K, train for a 100-miler. Unfortunately, a snow blizzard washed the race out and canceled it at mile 67, but I feel confident in the training that TJ gave me that I was under the cutoffs and could have finished that race. So just excited about the future with that. This community, my coach TJ, can't say enough about him. The rest of the coaches, I learned so much from all of you on these calls every week. The community, your stories each week of your races are inspiring. And then finally, definitely mental health. I've really put that forward as I wrapped up my training for the 100. And definitely that's going to kind of be my underlying thing that I want to work on in 2023. Not necessarily for running, just to work on other things that I felt like I needed to work at and address in my life. And those are the things I'm most grateful for.
Thank you, Stephen. We love you, man. You're like the master executor right here. We could all learn so much from Stephen's approach every day. Thank you. All right, Robby.
Morning. So this year has been definitely like a a minimal race schedule for me. I think 2021 probably brought a little bit of burnout with a lot of longer races. So it's been kind of a switch of how I approach my training. But I think my mileage overall has been pretty consistent, even in years that I've raced a lot. So I'm really grateful to be able to kind of train through the year without having, certain things on the schedule. I've kind of had some setbacks this year with injuries and just not really loving running through summer running in Oklahoma. Sometimes it's just not fun, but was able to kind of stay consistent throughout the whole year. And I'm just really proud of that and thankful to Zoe for kind of just being that guidepost and helping me through kind of each week of training and staying consistent, helping me kind of talk through injuries and recovery and all that sort of stuff. So I'm just, really happy to be able to stay consistent through it without huge goals. But what that's kind of brought is kind of the stoke to do, more things next year and get into some races that make me nervous at the start line. Like, can I do this? But I know I'll have kind of that tool chest to do whatever I want next year. So really looking forward to next year. But yeah, that's what I'm mostly grateful for.
Awesome. Yeah. Glad that you're dreaming big for 2023, Robby. It's super awesome. Okay. Zena from all the way over in Spain.
Sorry, let me unmute myself. What am I grateful for? My family. This year's been a year where all my kids are where they should be and all the COVID restrictions have sorted themselves out, and it's wonderful to see my daughter move in with her partner in Granada. That was just, I'm so grateful that they're there together. This year is first year in 2 years that my husband started running again. He's got over injury. So it's been amazing to have summer adventures with him again on the trails and see him about. And all my friends that running has brought me. Michelle, starting to run on a Thursday night with my ladies again. Billy, Jose Manuel. Just seeing communities start reforming after being locked down for so long. So it's been, a wonderful year for connection and community.
Awesome. That's what it's all about. All right. Caitlin.
Hey, so I'd say over the last 5 years, I've been starting to do things that are out of my comfort zone. And so this year, particularly, I got real uncomfortable, and I actually recently, within the last 5 months, moved cross country, which is something that I've wanted to do since I was a little kid. And in that, what I realized was that I have, so actually I wrote it down, so let me just read it because it's a little better. But this year I found that I'm grateful for the people who both support me and inspire me to do hard and challenging things. I realize I can have determination and drive. However, I often don't even realize what is possible without tuning in to those around me. So both when I was doing this and like trying to plan to move cross country, I had great support from the people I know and love and who have always been there for me. And then once I moved here, I found a whole new community of all these people who welcomed me right away and also inspired me to do more hard things that I, again, would never have even thought of or thought possible for myself. I'm going to shout out Allie, who's on this call too, who is a wonderful person, microcosm teammate that I've met. Chelsea, we knew each other for about a month and a half, and she asked me to pace her at Run Rabbit during her 100 miles, and it's just been incredible. I mean, these are things that I never thought I would be doing and in a place I never thought I'd be, and without the support and inspiration from all those around me, I probably wouldn't be doing a lot of these things.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. That's why we're here. Awesome. All right, Ryan.
All right. Good morning, guys. Wow. A lot to be thankful for, man. Ultra running has opened my life up to so much, just endurance sports in general. Drew mentioned something earlier about thriving, and man, that just like hit me in the feels, because like a year and a half ago, I basically fired myself from my job. I was miserable working for a company that just the inner workings of the company, it just wasn't the company I started 8 years ago, and or not I, but started working for 8 years ago, and it just changed. People came and went. I was done, burnt out, and I realized, like, what is your true passion? And I know someone brought up the thing with like cancer. Oh, my dad passed away from cancer, I guess going on eight years now. Same situation. He was diagnosed in October, May, June, July, August, September. It was like 6 months later, he had passed away. I randomly just threw a dart on a map and moved to Denver. And when I moved to Denver, I found endurance sports. I was dating a girl at the time who got me into Ironmans, and I saw her dad. I went to go spectate one day, and I saw her like 60-year-old dad cross the finish line of an Ironman at like 60 years old, and I was just like super inspired. And if that doesn't get you fired up, like, and same thing, like I've been at Leadville filming there before, and I just saw these like 50-year-old women just like sprinting across the finish line. And like ultras in general, endurance sports in general, just put you on this level of like, wow, like this person is doing big things, and like they're living out their true passion and thriving. And I'm really grateful for like the community here. Getting back to what Drew said, just about the whole thriving thing, I realized with my dad passing away from cancer, and like our time is so finite. We're just this little blip in the universe. And if you get 80 good years on this planet, that's pretty good. But it's like, what are you doing with that? Because you're really not promised tomorrow. So you might get 40 years, you might get 80, you don't know. So with me leaving my job, like, there again, I'm super grateful for Ashley. Like, most partners aren't just going to stick it out with you, starting your own company and figuring it out and being your own marketing person and your own accountant and your own, just all the things that go into running your own business, and the huge learning curve and sacrifice of time and all that. She dealt with it. It wasn't easy. She puts up with a lot of my crap, which I'm super thankful for. I don't think most partners would have just been like, hey, dude, figure it out. Call me back in a year when you have your life together or something. So I'm super grateful for her. And just like, I wrote a couple things down. Just you guys inspire me too, just being so open and vulnerable and sharing your experiences, whether it's like, the lowest of lows, a death in the family, just all these obstacles that not only physically we've gotten over, like the mental battles, the physicality of, what we do on the trail and in training. I guess I'll just sum it up with this. One thing that I really like to do is get in the backcountry with my bow every September. I love to hunt. I love to climb the nasty steep mountains of southern Colorado and really push my body. And this year, I had a buddy, Austin, who he and I really connected. I was able to hunt, and there again, like I don't get rich going out hunting. I'm not getting paid vacation. It's a sacrifice of time. And Ashley understands that. Like, she is such a huge support, because for me, like, I like to beat my body up. I like to suffer. I like to run and train and do all these crazy things and go on these extended hunting trips. And I spent 23 days in the South San Juans, and literally, like, she gets it now, but like, to me, that's therapy, that's self-care, that's how I get away and disconnect. And I hiked, gosh, I think 180 something miles, climbed over almost 28,000 feet of vert. And came back middle of the month, had to travel for work, came back, went back out hunting again. And my buddy Austin came out, used his own PTO, his own vacation. And I think hunting and ultras are very linked in the fact that, and I'm trying to get Austin into ultra running, but I'm super grateful for him as a friend because he came out, he sacrificed his own time, his own schedule, his own vacation days to come help a guy. And it's almost like when you sign up to pace a friend during a big race, or you crew a race, like those are bonds you create for lifetimes. And when someone's able to just give that up and help you pursue your one passion, I think that's somebody that you want in your corner, and you bond. And he's like my brother. That I mean, I have 3 older brothers, but he's like my brother now. We've definitely like bonded, and we ended up getting a bull down, and we hiked it out, and it was the most miserable I've ever been. And when I got done that pack out, I've never hurt that bad in my life. My feet were swollen twice the size. We hiked the elk out. We had to go for the last load in on horses because we were both so wrecked that we had beaten our bodies up so bad. I told Austin, I was like, dude, I've never hurt this bad. I've only ever run one ultra in my life, but hiking that elk out was the most pain I've ever been in. And that animal taught me a lot. That hunt taught me a lot. You go into those mountains and there's no cheat sheet. You don't get to look at the course like you do with an ultra, and you get to see what elevation gain you're in for. You're self-navigating. You're going in there on your own. And when you look at it on a map, and you go into Google Earth and you look at it in 3D, and you finally get there in person, and these mountains are 20 times the size you thought they were. And it just puts so much into perspective. And I'm just so grateful for my friends. I'm so grateful for like the wilderness, and just how it'll just, I don't know, it just speaks to you. You can't put it into words. But I told Austin when we got done that hunt, I was going to sign up for a 50 miler this year, and maybe 2 50 milers. So through ultra running and through hunting, they've kind of like merged, and it's just been like more suffering and more suffering and more training, and just ironing, sharpening iron. One passion helps the other passion. And yeah, just grateful for what my body can do. I had a neuroma surgery like 2 years ago. I had to get a surgery on my left foot, and that was a pretty low point, but I came back from that, and now I'm just trying to double down. And I hit Kristen up and was like, hey, like, I'm really trying to take training seriously. May I please, like, if you have another opening? And I'm just super stoked to like be here and just really give it 110%, and really just deepen my relationship with running, deepen my relationship with you guys, create another community that's like outside of hunting. And in the off season, I can put my energy toward training and running and just being the best version of myself that I can be. And yeah, TJ, thank you for your time. Sorry, I know that was a rant, but just grateful for so much. Just my girlfriend, the time she puts up with me and training and hunting. And she's very much like introverted, and she likes alone time, so it actually kind of works. But yeah, just with like leaving my job and creating more time to thrive and chase my passions, and not be tied down to a routine or a desk or a calendar or obligations, and just having the freedom to say no, like working for clients I want to work for, just having the freedom to live my life and not worry about, a paycheck or, I mean, yes, we all need money to survive, but at the end of the day, I'm going to look back on my life and be like, dude, you sold yourself down the river. You sacrificed all this for someone else's dream, someone else's company, someone else's thing. So, and no offense, like if you love what you do and you work for a corporation or you have a desk job, that's great. But for me, I know I've always been very independent, very like selfish of my own time. And now I actually get to like take a deep breath and really live out my true passions, I think. So I'm just stoked for this season, training as hard as I can for these 2 50 milers. I've got like the Moab Behind the Rocks, I think is what it is. That's in March. And then hopefully this summer do the, I guess it's the, oh gosh, Kristen, it's the one in South Dakota, Sturgis. No, I'm drawing a blank.
Black Hills 50.
Yeah, Black Hills 50.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's
So
okay.
anyway,
It's an
TJ,
awesome
that's it.
race.
I'm gonna put. That's what I hear. I'm gonna put a period on it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan, thanks so much. Welcome back to the community. Thanks for your reflections. You're so awesome, man. We really appreciate it. I know everybody could take something from that and apply it to what they have going on in their own life.
Absolutely.
Just
man. Happy to be
incredible.
here. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. All right. Allie.
Great. Good morning. Let's see. This is exactly a 1-year anniversary that I was on my first Microcosm call a year ago. So I'm grateful for that. Thank you to my coach, Sarah, for a whole year of fun. I am really grateful for my partner, who is my behind the scenes support. He's the reason I get to run. He manages everything from roof to kitchen to all the outdoor gear that it takes to support our outdoor adventures. And for someone who doesn't run, he has a very, very keen concern and knowledge of my running footwear. And I'm also really grateful for the friends that I have made over the past couple of years. They're all a ton of new friends. And it's kind of like super glue. You have this instant bond with these people on the trail, and it's so easy and natural to make these friends, and that really makes my life whole. And a lot of these friends are even part of Microcosm has brought these friends to me, including Caitlin and Chelsea. So thank you so much for being part of my life.
Awesome. I love hearing that. Bringing the community together. That's so great. Thank you, Allie. All right, Mike.
I assume that's me.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had a really good year. Kind of basically started out getting into Western States. So just grateful to Lady Luck for that. And then running wise, yeah, it's probably been my most consistent and best year ever. I've had no injuries, no real major setbacks, and I owe a lot of that to TJ. So thank you for that. And like the rest of my community along the way that helped me, I had friends fly all over the world to support me in the race, my sister, and then my wife as well, who's been amazing. And then I'm also grateful for the awesome job that I have. I get to work with cool people all around the world, developing new solutions for a sustainable world. So that's pretty cool. And most importantly, I'm grateful that we have our first child on the way as well. So I'm going to be a dad in the new year. So yeah, that's the highlights.
Oh, congratulations. I think this is the first I'm hearing of that, Mike. That's awesome, man. What a way to finish off the year. And a big year too, with that Western States finish. All right. Who is Kristen?
I'm assuming you mean me and not
Yes.
not the EN, but the IN.
Yes.
So it's been kind of a tough year. I've been really struggling with balance and coming to realize that balance is bullshit. So kind of coming to terms with that. And also just coming to terms with like realizing that not only comparing myself with others, but like comparing myself with who I used to be as a runner, because now that I'm 52, it's just not happening the way it used to. And that's been kind of a struggle. But also like, I think this call has been really awesome because I've been kind of beating myself up for not doing the things that I used to be able to do. But look, this call has made me look back and realize that I actually had a pretty big year. I mean, I did Tushers and I paced Run Rabbit Run. And not only did we pace Run Rabbit Run, but we got her like through, like, it was, I don't know if you guys were out there, but it was rainy and gross. And I ended up falling and I got like a little bit of a concussion. And so, I mean, it was like crazy, like all of these crazy things. And then doing and then I got to do Javelina 100K with my son, which was amazing. Like who gets to, you talk about running with your dad and all that, but I got to do it with my son and be out there with my son and also all of my peeps. And so I guess it just brought, and my running community is super, super tight. We're like totally there for each other. And so really, really grateful for that. And then also super grateful for my husband, who is not a runner in any way, shape, or form, does not want to be a runner, does not, but he totally supports me and the community. And he was out there cheering everybody. He was putting up the tents. He was, calling the Yeti cooler a mile from the car so that we would all have ice at our little tent. I mean, he's so amazing. And the fact that like we've been married, we're going to be coming up on 30 years now. And the fact that we're at that point in our relationship, I am super, super grateful for. And then also grateful for you guys, because I would not have thought of these things 45 minutes ago before this call. So thanks to all of you for bringing all of that to the surface.
Thanks, Kristen. Yeah, I think that's one of the nice things about doing these calls sometimes is it gives us all a chance to reflect in different ways, in different spaces and avenues that exist out there. Sometimes when we're going through the day-to-day, we don't realize all the things that we have the opportunity to be grateful for, just because that's kind of part of the human experience. So I usually feel the same way about these kind of calls. It's like, oh, look at that, like how interesting. And it's also been fun to follow your journey through the Rad Weekend updates. I'm not your coach, but I think you've had a heck of a year. So you should be really proud of yourself. All right, Paul.
Hi, I assume I'm the only one. I didn't double check, but
yeah,
keep
good to
it
see you
short. Thanks, everyone. Good morning. I think like what was coming up listening to everyone is obviously being thankful for people around me. I think what's been a theme this year is I've been just embracing who I am and like finding the people that support that rather than the other way around. So I was just thinking of a couple memories of this year that strikes really hard. I think the first one was moment when my now wife and I realized that the Dipsy race in Mill Valley was going to be the day after our wedding, and decided that yes, we were going to run it. And so a reminder is just like starting the Dipsy with a tuxedo t-shirt and a fake bow tie around my neck, and getting stuff from all the volunteers. That was pretty awesome. And the second one that came up, obviously very grateful from getting married to a wonderfully supported person. It's obviously a big one, but the second one was, my sister showing up at the Trion station at CCC, and she was kind of like running late. It was like, and bringing me like, it's like, oh, I didn't even have time to stop for food, but here's a piece of bread and cheese. And that was the most wonderful piece of cheese I've ever had in my life. So those are two things to be grateful for. And thanks for the Microcosm team for jumping in like a couple of weeks before the race. I had to change coach during the year, but couldn't be more grateful for you guys, Zoe in particular. So that's it for me.
Thanks, Paul. Yeah, thanks for joining our team. We're really grateful to have you on board, and it was really fun to meet you over in France. All right, Rachel, I already read your reflection out loud, but if you'd like to say something, I think we'd all enjoy listening.
I don't really know what to say that's different from what I already told you to say, or asked you to say, but I guess thank you for organizing this call. And I guess I can build a little bit on what TJ said, just talking about how I'm really, really grateful for some really tough injuries and some really tough life changes for this space that they can create, because I know that all of us, running is a gravity sport. And so we're all going to go through injuries in tough times. And the openness, I think, that I was able to build working with TJ to letting that kind of change the shape of what the process and maybe what my journey looks like, and how much joy I found as a result of letting go of everything has been super, super, super special. It is really, really nice. And so I'm super grateful to TJ for that. And also for anyone on the call, if anyone is struggling with injuries and like having a really tough time mentally and you want to connect with someone about it or like need a friend, I'm always open for that.
Thanks for that offer, Rachel. I know that you're not the only one, and we talked a lot about this in the Rad Weekend Update newsletter this week, but we spend a lot of time talking about people's achievements, the things that they have accomplished, and there's not a single person who has accomplished something in this community or in any other community out there who hasn't had to overcome an obstacle. And I would say most likely more than one en route to that achievement. And, whether people who have support and who are willing to, open up and be vulnerable in those moments, I think they tend to get more out of those challenges. And, clearly that's something that you've worked really hard on, and it's made a huge difference for you. And so I hope that people can take the illustration that you've kind of created here and the things that you said and the things that I said earlier, that you asked me to say about your journey and all of that. I hope people can take that to heart and use that as a bit of a guide when they're going through hard things. I love Steve Magnus. He always mentions that there's no overnight breakthroughs. And I mean, it's 100% true. Nobody comes out of nowhere. There's always been stuff happening behind the scenes, challenges, hard work. And so I think it serves us all to remember that, especially around this time of year, because we should be grateful for those experiences as much as they suck. Because without that stuff, that finish line probably just doesn't feel as good. At least it doesn't for me and people that I know. All right, Vicky, I'm going to give it to you. Hopefully that construction's going okay over there.
Yeah, I think it's okay. The worst thing is actually that when we hear noises in the apartment, all the dogs go crazy. So, so I hope we won't be interrupted. I tried to write down a few things. So I think that there's a lot of things that I could or should be grateful for this year. I think in personal life, this year has probably been one of the hardest and most exciting and most difficult and everything all over. And I'm just very grateful to be, because a lot of you talked about partnership, and I'm just so happy to be in a partnership with an amazing runner. He can't be here today. He's out there doing some cross training or so. But he's like, Felix is like a constant source of support for me, just like, well, I'm just grateful to have someone with me who's like helping me through all the small, it was luckily just small, but lots of small health issues that I had this year. And I'm also thankful that over the past few weeks, I kind of found happiness in easy 20 to 30 minute runs, which I never thought was possible. But I feel like maybe I'm on a way to like re-evaluating what being a runner means to me, and finding out that I don't have to run excessively to find happiness in getting out there and be with myself. So that's pretty much a big takeaway for me this year. I think a lot of this strength and that I found, or a lot of this happiness kind of came from the community here, and especially from you, TJ. You're like awesome, like with your unconditional support. Thank you so much for that. And then there's one more thing that I'm grateful for, that I finally found the courage to reach out for mental health support. And I just wanted to, oh my God, I'm going to cry, to say that if you are thinking about getting help, that you should really go and do it, because it's worth it. And even like just take it one step at a time. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Thank you so much. I'm gonna cry right now. Sorry for that.
Thank you. I love the emotion and the energy there, Vicky. I think that just speaks really just speaks for itself that what you're saying really comes from the heart. And I know just from everybody, you know, that's where these expressions of gratitude come from. And that's why they're so important. It's not easy to get up on a Zoom call. I know we're all in the comfort of our homes, but to talk in front of people that, you know, some of us haven't met each other in person, and we kind of make up this collective global community, so to speak, but it's still not the same as if we're sitting around a dining room table, or you know, we're kind of it's hard to facilitate a space here, but we're doing the best that we can, and really appreciate all of you guys. Yeah, just for being willing to get vulnerable, having the courage to talk a little bit about these on these calls, express gratitude. And for everybody who also, you know, had the courage to write in to this call. Thank you guys. It's been a great year. I know, yeah, I know for all of us coaches, we're just super grateful for you guys.
I have a couple things from my athlete. Can I share just super quick, T?
Oh yeah, sure. Of course.
Sorry. People are so grateful it's coming in through like all the different mediums, but this is from Maggie Reberg. She's grateful for me and Microcosm coaches, and for her time in Leadville this summer, for dreaming big and entering the trail marathon when registration opened last winter, and how it got her into running more regularly in the spring and exploring trails in Colorado, and how that led her to where she is today, where she's still dreaming big and hopeful for this journey to continue. Also from Lauren Landy, she's grateful for her family. She has the cutest, like, I mean, all families are really, really cute, but she has an exceptionally cute family. So shout out to the Landys up in Vermont, and we're grateful to have you on the team, Lauren.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. And I don't know, other coaches, do you guys have anything else? Because okay, I wasn't sure. I don't know how I missed those coming in, but thank you guys. Really appreciate everybody's time. Hope you all go into Thanksgiving and just have a wonderful week. Be open to expressing gratitude at your Thanksgiving tables. That's something that you and your family are into. I think it can be really fun and interesting. That's something that my family does. Anyways, have a great holiday. We won't be having a call next week, obviously, because of the holiday, but we're really excited to see you guys in December. And yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about planning for 2023 on that call. So looking forward to seeing you guys then. Thanks. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.